So over the weekend, Donald Trump's airplane hit a parked plane on the runway in the West Palm Beach airport, it's being reported. I want to talk about that, but it actually opens up a broader discussion that we need to have, just focusing on this slice of the way Donald Trump has dealt with his private jets. And it incorporates fraud, it incorporates misogyny, it incorporates malfeasance, and you can judge for yourself. So here's the story. Trump's plane clips parked plane at Florida airport. It's happened over this past weekend after Donald Trump was giving that unhinged speech in Wildwood, New Jersey, where he was praising the late, great Hannibal Lecter, he said, and this is what went down. Former President Donald Trump's Boeing 757 clipped a parked private jet at West Palm Beach International Airport on Sunday, according to the Federal Aviation Administration. Quote, aircraft taxiing and winglet struck the rear elevator of a parked Vista jet. The FAA notice reads. The notice lists the plane's registration number, an N757AF. FAA registration records show the plane is registered to DJT Operations, LLC. The registration number is also clearly visible on the side of Donald Trump's plane. Quote, a privately owned Boeing 757 landed safely at West Palm Beach International Airport around 1:20 a.m. local time, Sunday, May 12th. An FAA spokesperson told WFLA.com in a statement, quote, while taxiing, its winglet contacted a parked and unoccupied corporate jet. The incident occurred in an area of the airport where the FAA does not direct aircraft. No injuries were reported in the incident. The report lists the damage as unknown. It was unclear if Trump was on the plane. The FAA continues to investigate the incident. Trump is currently on trial in Manhattan facing criminal charges. So I guess he hires only the best, even when it comes to his airplane clipping and hitting other parked jets. So let's dive a little bit deeper, though. That's the incompetence. Let's dig a little bit into the, we'll just say for purposes of this video, the questionable financials. So this was an article from Business Insider about Trump's jet. In April, Trump said his private jet LLC was worth no more than $1,000. Then in July, he said it was worth up to $25 million. Why was that? Two sets of Trump's 2023 financial disclosures show vastly different valuations for a number of Trump entities. He's still doing this now, folks, even as the Trump Organization was found guilty of criminal fraud after the Trump Organization was found liable for civil fraud as well in the recent case. Criminal fraud, civil fraud, they're at it again with their finances, or they were always at it, and he will always be at it. The first disclosure filed in April was Trump's required filing as a presidential candidate. The second one in July revised the statements made by the first. The most extreme example is TAG Air Inc. The company is one of a number of Trump entities associated with the former president's Boeing 757. In an April filing, the Office of Government Ethics, Trump claimed that the TAG Air had a value of $1,000 or less. Then in a revised July filing, Trump valued TAG Air at between $5 million and $25 million. So in a mere 3 months that elapsed between the two disclosures, Trump's estimate of TAG Air's value jumped by a factor of 5,000 or more. It's unclear what prompted Trump's accountants to make such a drastic change. I don't know. Perhaps it fits a pattern of his accountants doing things like that. And then it goes to this issue of imputed income and the fact that Donald Trump's political action committees, funded by Mr. and Mrs. Magadonia, are the ones paying Donald Trump's private jet fees and private jet gas bills and all of that. You could take a look at Donald Trump's financial disclosures through his political action committees. Trump 2024 campaign committee brought in $19.1 million in Q4 last year, and there was $1.7 million went to Donald Trump's plane, with another $1.6 million on event staging. Of course, Alina Habba got like $3.5 million for her legal services. Melania got about $500,000 for her hairstylist. And for her, personal fashion people or whatever. But if you just look at the tax code, imputed income, according to the IRS, is the value of non-monetary compensation given to employees in the form of fringe benefits. And, PACs and super PACs and these political action committees are tax-exempt entities. So it seems like Donald Trump could be using his political action committees as tax avoidance schemes, or just a way to avoid paying taxes so that he can fund things like his own private jet and his wife's hairstylist and things like that. That's always worth just noting too. If you take a look at the income that Donald Trump reported 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020, and take a look at the federal taxes Donald Trump paid in these years. In 2015, Donald Trump said he lost $31 million and paid $641,000 in income taxes. In 2016, Donald Trump paid a total of $750 in federal income taxes and claims he lost $32 million. Just think about it. This guy out here saying, I'm such a successful businessman. I almost guarantee you he paid less federal income taxes than you paid. In 2017, Donald Trump says he lost $12 million, lost $13 million, and paid a total of $750 in federal income taxes. 2018 and 2019, Donald Trump claims he paid a combined $1 million in federal income taxes. Then in 2020, he claims he lost $4 million and paid no federal income taxes in 2020. So as we start thinking about Donald Trump's private jet, it raises all of those questions. How else has Donald Trump used that private jet? Well, Now This, and by the way, Now This works with the MeidasTouch network. They have unearthed footage showing Donald Trump. I'll just show it to you. This is from 2007, and this is how Donald Trump was using his private jet back in 2007. Let me show you this exhibit to play this clip.
I have a question. My question is, how many jets do you have, and how would I advise you flight attendants?
I think she's hired. You're hired. I had a case. It's very interesting. A beautiful girl who was 17 or 18 applied to be a waitress. She's so beautiful. She's like a world-class beauty, like the young lady who just asked a question about the actress. She's so beautiful. And my people came. She said, "Look, Mr. Trump, she has no experience." So I interviewed her anyway because she was so beautiful. And I said, "Let me ask you, do you have any experience?" She goes, "No, sir." I said, "When can you start?" You can work at my place anytime. Hey. See, now, if she worked at my place, that's like a death wish for me, right? That's like an alcoholic. I have many friends here. When people that are alcoholics, you put scotch in front of them. It's like, this would be my form of alcoholism. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Now, how else was Donald Trump using his private jet that just recently clipped somebody or clipped another airplane? I want you to watch this credible and detailed firsthand account from Brian Butler, who worked for Donald Trump for decades, about moving classified material after Donald Trump left office into the private jet. So you saw the other clip, how Trump's using his private jet. Here's another way how he's using his private jet. Play this clip.
And then what happened is Walt left before me, and he never goes directly to the plane. He's either in the motorcade or when he goes there with the boss, which the former president. And I remember telling him he left the club with, I didn't know what he had in his vehicle, but he waited for me at a nearby business, and I told him I would tell him when I was leaving Mar-a-Lago. So I left Mar-a-Lago. I texted him, hey, I'm on my way. He followed me. He pulled out and got behind me. We got to the airport. I ended up loading all the luggage I had, and he had a bunch of boxes.
You noticed that he had boxes?
Oh, yeah. They were the boxes that were in the indictment, the white banker's boxes. That's what I remember loading.
And did you have any idea at the time that there was potentially U.S. national security secrets in those boxes?
No clue. No, I had no clue. I mean, we were just taking them out of the Escalade, piling them up. I remember they were all stacked on top of each other, and then we're lifting them up to the pilots.
How many boxes was it?
You know, they asked me in the interview, and I believe it was 10 to 15 is what I remember. I know
Being
it was
the investigators.
correct.
And when you look back on that now, what do you...
Well, I had no clue until probably the end of June. There was a few different things that happened that kind of opened my eyes to, something's going on here.
So you get that unusual request. Did you ever think to yourself, why were there so many boxes at Mar-a-Lago?
For me, I'm just thinking, the former president, he has a lot of stuff he likes to lug around with him. I never would have thought it was anything like what we see now.
Classified documents.
Yeah,
How else is Donald Trump using his private jet? This is newly released Trump deposition footage. Well, it was newly released in May of 2023 from the E. Jean Carroll trial where Donald Trump was found liable of assault, where Trump is saying that he would not have any interest in somebody by the name of Jessica Leeds, a witness in the trial who claimed Trump groped her on an airplane in the late 1970s. And then Donald Trump asks or says to the lawyer that he would not do anything to her because she's not apparently his type either. And this is how disgusting he is. And again, we're just talking about responses about airplanes right now and Donald Trump's behavior with airplanes. Play this clip.
Just got in former President Trump's video deposition from last October in E. Jean Carroll's civil case against him. The jury saw this video yesterday, right before both sides rested their case. Let's listen to just some of what the jury listened to.
When you said in that video that Ms. Leeds would not be your first choice, you were referring to her physical looks, correct?
Just the overall, I look at her, I see her, I hear what she says, whatever. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted. I would not, under any circumstances, have any interest in you. I'm honest when I say it. I would not have any interest in.
This comes as the judge in this case is now giving the former president until 5 p.m. Sunday to decide whether to take the stand after he told reporters yesterday that he's, quote, going back to New York because of the case.
And finally, who does Donald Trump associate himself very closely with? Who's the leader of the MAGA youth movement? Someone named Charlie Kirk. Donald Trump side by side with Charlie Kirk at all of these events. Charlie Kirk is like the leading right-wing influencer voice of the MAGA movement. And again, we're on the theme of airplanes, right? We're just focused on airplanes right now. Charlie Kirk says that African Americans should not be pilots and that he would not go on an airplane if he saw it was if the pilot was an African American person. Here, play this clip.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
So I just focused on airplanes. Donald Trump's airplane clipped another airplane, right? And it's a very simple rabbit hole that you can go into. Okay, financial malfeasance and his history about his treatment of women and races. It's all tied into it when you just take a little slice like airplanes. Judge for yourself. Tell me what you think. That's just giving you data, just giving you facts, his own words, his own filings. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers thanks to your support. Thank you so much for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.